Yo, so it's your boy SKANDOUZ, the hip hop original, and this is season 5, episode number 8 of the Connoisseurs of Hip Hop head-to-head interview series. And I'm joined by a man who I personally would consider an absolute legend and an inspiration, and a brother and a colleague in this hip hop thing that we love and live. And it is a genuine pleasure to finally have this opportunity to sit down with you, brother, and talk about this fantastic album that you've just released. So without further ado, I'd like to welcome the red one and only Chuks. How you doing, brother?
Yeah, I'm good, bro. I'm blessed, man. Are you? How are you? You good?
I'm all, bro, running around as usual, man. But we're here and we're
Yeah,
healthy. That's all we can be thankful for. So
that's
that's
it. That's it, man. Be grateful for good health and being well and being able to manage all your responsibilities well and them kind of thing. Yeah, it's a blessing to be able to do that, man. Yeah.
Boy, we're trying, man. We're trying. It's a good try. But yeah, man. So the first question we always start off with, Chuks, um,
hmm
how did you find your way into music? Where did it start for you?
Okay, for me with music, I would say I was like maybe 14, 15. I was working in a furniture shop in Green Lanes in London, and there was the owner of the shop. He had a studio downstairs, and he was always encouraging us. This is when Busta Rhymes was out, like "Put Your Hands Where My Eyes Can See," and he used to love Busta Rhymes, the manager. He was old. He was an older fella, but he still liked the young people's hip hop, and he liked Busta Rhymes. So he had those producers in the studio, and they was experimenting with rapping and stuff. 14, 15. I remember I went to the studio back in the day with Demolition Man and all them kind of man there, and spitting with them guys and some other jungle guys doing hip hop. And then my brother Mucker, Mr. Tibbs. He was in Mud Family with Skinny Man, Nova, and Mongo and all them man there. You get me? So yeah, we were doing radio shows and spitting on the radio shows with them man and stuff like that. I remember Scheme and is it Big P? That man used to kill it back in them day. The dark and cold freestyles and them man there. The man was cold. Skinny Man was like a legend. And all across the UK, my brother was touring and stuff like that. I'd go with them on some tours and stuff like that and do little bits and pieces. And that's what got me into spitting. And then I got into a group called One with like Sway and Alex Shucks, bro, the producer Al Shucks. He produced Jay-Z, Empire State of Mind, and who else? My boys Meredith, Edjo, Sean, Imu. My brother Tibbs was in the group, and in this group, we put out an album called Wonderful World. This was around when I was like 19 or 20, and we put out an album. It was like a Wu-Tang kind of group. There was no rap group in North London like that was doing it like us. We were a big crew. We were all young, all 20 and under. We didn't really know what we were doing. We made the CD, got it produced. There was no online stuff back then, and we were selling it at the boot. And then Sway just went over to some next success when he went solo and got the Mercury Award and all that and all the success. But for me, my journey's been different because of my mental health. And I've had mental health issues since I've been 19, and that kind of steered me off. And then I didn't really do a lot of spitting and all that kind of stuff. I was more working for like NHS. I'm a social worker, so that's kind of what I do, like mental health social worker.
Right.
So
So so
that's me.
right. So when it comes to you as an artist, man, who would you cite as your early influences, and what is the origin? Obviously, I know the name Chuks is obviously your name shortened, but what made you settle on that name in particular? And was it the first name you came up with?
Well, the first answer your question, I think the questions are good, man. I mean, the first album I bought was Red Man Muddy Waters. That was the first album I bought. I remember that song. It's like that. Ding, ding, ding. That song was banging, and then what's it called? I remember like my little cousin was there, and he listened to the Red Man video of the single, and there's a line that Red Man says like, "Make your girl suck on this shit that I bitch." I went, "Oh my god, my little cousin's listening to this." But Red Man, he was the first lyricist that really stuck in my head. And the next album that I wanted to buy was Khalees. I think it was Khalees, the Neptunes album. because I used to love the Neptunes, and the Neptunes, that was the first album that he'd done all the tracks, so I wanted to buy that album, you know. Back in them days, I didn't have the money to buy all the CDs and stuff. I used to tape off Trevor Nelson and Westwood, and you know, not even 279 Westwood, because Radio 1 was bait, you know, you could definitely get Radio 1, no, that signal. So I'll just tape their shows to get all their tunes. But as far as what's it called? My name, I used to be called the Governor when I was in 1. I was known as the Governor for a while, and then I just decided when I was doing my solo stuff, I decided to go by the name Chuks. You know, I just liked the name. I thought it was cool, and you know, and then I got another name called F Normal that I put on it as well, and that's to do with like my mental health struggle. Just saying that your normal, your level is the normal. You know, you lead your own life, you set your own pace. You're a trendsetter, a trailblazer. You do things your way. You're not trying to conform. You're not trying to fit in. It's your normal. So it's not about normal and trying to fit in. It's about doing your things. So I put that at the end. So yeah, Chuks. That's the name there, bro. You know.
Right. Okay. So I mean, you spoke about you're very vocal about your mental health and shining light on mental health awareness throughout your music. That was something that never used to be so openly spoken about in hip hop. So what was it about that you know, that did somebody inspire you, or you know, what pushed you to really want to speak about it in your music?
Okay, well, I went through some blips when I was like 19 in my 20s and stuff like that, and it was like, I remember Scarface, you know, Scarface mind playing tricks on me, and I never listened to the song when it came out, but I knew the story of Scarface, how he went into a mental health hospital when he was younger, and he overcame those obstacles and hurdles and still had a brilliant career, successful tours, all that kind of stuff, solo from Ghetto Boys. He was a big inspiration. So that made me feel like, yeah, that I could do it. And then also just being, honest in my music. It's like I'm with my lyrics and stuff, because I've got 2 projects that's out on Bandcamp. If you guys check it out, it's I've got one called Stolen Consciousness, which is talking about mental health experiences and stuff, blips that I went through. And then my other project, the latest one that I've just put out this week, it's called Grab the Devil by the Horns, and that's more talking about religion, God, faith, Christianity, and my take on that. And I've always found music to be therapeutic, to just talk about my feelings, to talk about what I'm not a boastful and bragging MC. I'm not going to just talk about my lyrical skill, or how I battle you, or how I destroy you, or how I shot these drugs, or how I murked you, because that's not me. I'm comfortable with myself and rapping about my life, my experience, my take, my unique perspective, my specialisms. I'm putting that in my lyrics and making songs pertaining to that. I'm not trying to conform and do drill or trap. I just do what I enjoy. You know?
Yeah, and that's what's so refreshing, man. You spoke about being in a group, the One Crew. You know, obviously that was like the Wu-Tang of North London. And as everybody, I guess, eventually splintered into their own direction, you was part of a live Christian hip hop band called Noblemen. So what was it that affected your decision to want to, you know, everybody's going in this direction, I'm going in that direction?
Well, I was in church. I went into church when I was like in my early 20s, and I met a lot of the band members and stuff like that. When I was in church, and they were the praise and worship guys and stuff, and I met them in church, and I was rapping, you know, Carl and all that man there, and I was spitting, and they were like, "Oh, you're fire, you got bars, we should do some stuff." So we were experimenting after church or whatever. Then we started going to studio and making songs together and experimenting. We put out an album, Thoughts of a Man, that's on Spotify, Noblemen, and then we also put out, you know, we've got an album that's been on hiatus for a while, but it's coming out. Guys are working on it, and that album's coming out. It's called Chord Stricken, and that's got a lot of our work. When we were doing live shows around North London and London and stuff like that, we were performing tracks off that album. So in the last couple of years or whatever, COVID kind of messed us up, but yeah, that should be coming out soon. So yeah, the main thing is, yeah, it was Christian, like a religious kind of lyrics and stuff like that, it wasn't very secular because we weren't into when we was all going to church, we weren't very much into like secular life. We didn't go to clubs, we didn't go to bars, we weren't into drinking or taking drugs or whatever. We was very much into God and stuff like that, and Bible study and stuff like that. So that was a formative year, like back like in my 20s. And then we were just making music, and then as we grew older, we grew away from the church. So some of the band members stopped going to church and stuff, and yeah, so the music changed, and then we were just talking about our life, talking about gyal, talking about work, just coming up, trying to make something of ourselves, being ambitious, and that was all in the lyrics. The musicality was very good as well. The guys were getting better on their instruments, so the beats were stepping up. I think K15 Kieran, my boy Kieran's in it. He makes a lot of music as well. Puts out music. And Nick, the percussionist, he joined us as well. My boy Tyona on the bass, Carl on the keys, Nathan spitting Manish on the guitar. So yeah, Noble Men, check us out on Spotify, you know, and have a listen to the music, guys.
Right, so it's brilliant, man, and I'm really happy to hear that there's still another album coming, you know, and obviously speaking as someone that was in a live hip hop band as well, just to know how challenging it was, because there were so few hip hop bands at the time to really, you know, kind of like navigate. Literally, all we had to look towards was the roots, and that was it, you know.
Yeah, that is it. Yeah.
And I guess being
there was another guy, Marfo. Remember my man, Marfo?
Yeah,
is it Marfo? Marfo? Yeah.
And the front line,
and that was a pop thing, and videos and stuff. That was encouraging to see. And now this whole jazz movement is just flourishing, you know. As a collective, just in it. This live thing is just popping, you know.
Yeah, and the thing is, I often say when I speak to my ex-band members, man, I feel like we just came out in the wrong decade. You know, we were just like the infrastructure just wasn't there for us, and that kind of affected the longevity of the band. You know, so you know, it sounds more like the time really to have a live hip hop band because of the emerging UK jazz scene as well, man. So you know, that's definitely encouraging to see. You know, but yeah, so it's fantastic that you've got this brand new album out. You know, you're speaking on some very challenging topics, man. You know, with such a raw honesty, which I love about your music. You know, so tell us about the formation of this album. Where did the concept come from?
Well, it was about me saying, grab the bull by the horn, basically that phrase. Grab the bull by the horns. Take control of your life. Take the reins of your life. Don't be dictated by your employer or your family circumstance or whatever. Do things that you want to do in your life. Grab the bull by the horns and take control. And then I looked at it like the devil, you know, the devil is a person, or the devil is energy in people. And I was like, grab the devil by the horns and done the devil and get on with whatever you need to get on with, you know. So, and because the themes on the album was talking about religion and Christianity and this kind of stuff, I felt like I wanted to talk about, I wanted the title to be pertaining, to have like a religious kind of theme or aspect to it. So I was like, grab the devil by the horns. But I definitely wanted to do it, you know, put a Christian aspect on it. And the artwork was very much that, you know, on the artwork and the cover, I'm holding the devil's head, you know, like grabbing the bull by the horns, cut off the devil's head, I beat the devil. And then there's another image of me riding a bull. That's the face of a devil, you know, so that's keeping in line with the grab the bull by the horns and stuff like that, you know. So yeah, that was it really. The project was good though, man. I mean, I enjoyed doing the project. I did it I don't know if you know Andre Orange, but yeah, I did it at his studio, NRG Studios. I recorded it there. There's a producer called Wizzy Wow. He used to produce for Rex 32 and stuff. He engineered it and stuff for me and mixed up the beats and mixed the project for me. And I was just like, I had the lyrics for a while over some different kind of beats. And I just wanted to like pull it down and put down, just record it. So yeah, instead of me like making loads of tracks from scratch and taking this influence there, this influence there, and creating beats or whatever, it would take more, it's more time consuming. I took a lot of instrumentals and stuff like that, beats that I'd heard, and I put my songs down on them. you know, and I put it out this week, and people have been liking it and telling me they've heard it and paying for the project and stuff like that. So it's been good reception so far. It's kind of nerve-wracking when you put out a project, you know, you don't know what you're gonna get, because I'm honest in the music and I'm not necessarily putting it on the front, you know, or honest about my views. I'm putting my feelings and myself out there. It's like there's a bit of nerves, you know. But if you're just putting on a front, or it's an act, there's not much. I don't think there'll be that much nerves about it. I'm thinking, oh, I said this about Jesus. What are they gonna say? They're gonna, you know, all this kind of stuff, you know.
Yeah, and that's the purest form of art, man. It's just the raw honesty. That's what people buy into, man. And you're speaking on the conflict that a lot of Christians go through, especially people that have been lifelong Christians. You know, you have your moments where you're very close to the faith, and then something might happen to you personally, and then you're feeling a bit like you're questioning everything, you know, you're contemplating like stepping away, you know, and you're giving us both sides on this project, man, you know, and obviously, you know, there might be some backlash from some hardened Christians listening to this, but at the same time, I'll be amazed if you don't get a lot of, like, I guess, people that have struggled with their faith and just didn't know how to articulate it, you know, and you've done it in such a brilliant way. You know, so it's and it gives you so much food for thought, man. And once again, I've got to commend you for the bravery to just saying how you feel, because there's a lot of people that think that way, but they just don't know how to. They're worried that if they come out and say it, they're gonna upset the wrong set of people.
Yeah. There's a lot of it. You need to be courageous and just put your feelings out. Just like I said, I had nerves putting out the project. I was thinking I'm going to get feedback. I know a lot of church people, church circles, different churches I've been to, and I put it out on Instagram. If they hear it or whatever, they might think, oh, we're tear. You know, I already got a bad rep or whatever because of mental health. But yeah, it is what it is. But for the project, I was reading like the God Delusion. Even when I first got into religion at 19 or 20, this is when Richard Dawkins first put out the book, The God Delusion. And I read it, and it made me see that there was a different perspective to what I was learning in the church. So even at 19, I realized I had a critical mind, I had critical thinking. I wasn't just accepting everything as it was, because I knew that there was people that was going against this ideology. It wasn't like everything should be their way or whatever. So I always had a bit of skepticism there. That's just my journey. And then I was reading other books by, I think it's Christopher Hitchens, God Is Not Great and stuff like that. I was reading some books on this kind of stuff, audible stuff. And it was informing some of the lyrics that I was writing. And I did my little research for the project. And it was like, I felt some of the stuff was deep, because they talk about Islam and all this kind of stuff. And that went a bit over my head, because I'm not really into that, like, religion too tough. But some of the things they talked about resonated with me, you know, as far as, like, what did they say? They said something about if it's your only one life to live, you know, what's it called? Live it the way that you want to. There was a lot of perspectives in those books that I read. I can't remember it all now. I can't remember all the lyrics. Memory shot. I couldn't perform this album because I wouldn't remember the lyrics. But yeah, a lot of the perspectives of these people resonated with me, and I pull it forward in the lyrics. You know, if you're on your radio show, play some of them tunes. Play Indoctrinated Lemons. It's not a diss song. It's not my take over my ether towards Christians. It's not that. But there's some songs that have different views, and what I'm talking about is, like, as far as God, like what you said earlier on. It's like you go through some personal troubles, and then you're thinking, like, oh, is God really there for you? Is God real? Is he a good? They always say God is good all the time. God is good and all this kind of stuff. But when you're going through adversity and challenges, you know, is that really the case? Yeah. And then also, it's like, when you're young and impressionable in your teens and stuff like that, and I see so many young people in church and stuff like that, and in religious circles, and I don't think it's the best place for them to be. I feel like the youngins should, like, my children go church, but I think I don't want them to be overly religious and get too crazy in it. It could become like cultists or whatever. But I do feel that there should be more outlets for the young people, like the youth clubs and stuff like that, and the mentorships and the colleges and the mentors that the children have in their life, and us as fathers bringing our children around our family, our extended family and stuff like that. You know, the church, I don't think it does enough. And I think the concentration on entrepreneurship and tithing, and you know, I think church is good in terms of it being a safe place. You know, you're not going to get all the drugs, you're not going to get the road man, you're not going to get the shot in and the killing and the violence and stuff. You know, but you know, I think it's a good safe place in that respect. And you can meet other people, and you can network. There's a lot of positives to take from church. You know, if you're not looking at it from a biblical aspect, you know, but I just feel there's more that could be done for young people. I don't think it's the best environment. I think as fathers, we have to do more for our children and our young ones than just putting them in church and thinking that it's going to improve their life and do everything for them. You know, church is good though. It's another outlet, because in this life, you know, some families, some people, they don't have big extended families. It's just them and their children and their families in Scotland or whatever, or the mum's there or the dad's there or in Africa or whatever, and it's just them and the children. You know, so when you go to church, you have the extended family, the extended people, you know, and it's more community and stuff. So there's good aspects, you know. But yeah, I have a problem with the ideology, like the whole Jesus thing. I never really got it. Jesus died for me. He should be my role model. I never really got with all of that, you know. And I talk about it on the project, you know. Like my disillusionment with Christianity, you know. Yeah.
Right. No, and you, like you mentioned, indoctrinated lemmings, man. What would you say was the most challenging song for you to write, and why?
Most challenging song on that project? It was a pretty much easy project to write, but what would I say? Which was the easy? I have to see. Let me look at I got the album list in here. The album, the song that I liked, that I felt was Faith Forsaker, was a deep song. People say they like Faith Forsaker. I rapped over Pete Rock and Smoke DZA, that Don't Smoke Rock album. There was a tune with Smoke DZA, Big Crit, and Dom Kennedy, and I rapped over that instrumental. And I was talking about like Faith Forsaker. I used to be a religious participator. Faith Forsaker. My third eye sees behind the scenes, and it's only the picture, only the trailer I've seen. Know what I mean? Yeah, something like that. But yeah, that tune was a deep tune. It was just talking, because my friend, he even put out a podcast. My guy Joseph. It was called Forsakers of the Faith, and he interviewed Jahazel and other Christians, and how they've changed from being a Christian and being so hardcore into it. You know the story of Jahazel already, you know. Hardcore into Christian rap, and then change, and then his views have changed as he's grown older and changed, and that was my perspective on the song, and I talked about it, you know. I talked about another song that was a deep song. I'm trying to remember now. The Heavens Is Watching Us. That was a deep song. That was a kind of personal song. I was talking about like stuff like when I was younger, doing stuff, negative stuff and hustler stuff and stuff like that, and just how the heavens is watching us. So feeling like God was watching me, and like I believe more in signs and wonders rather than the Jesus aspect of it all, and I'm more spiritual than anything. And I felt like God was protecting me from certain things that's happened in my life, you know, certain incidents that happened. I'm thinking, was it a coincidence? Was it God? Or was, you know, that kind of stuff. And other lyrics in the album, I talked about my children, this is like the songs that I'm making are a legacy for my children. So my children can listen to the songs and see where my mind was at. And even when I'm dead and gone, they can have a listen and hear where my head was at and hear my perspective on things. And it's like a stamp in time, you know?
Yeah, exactly. Precisely, man. You know, and I think just looking at some of the song titles as well, man, they're really, you know, it's like that in a way they're not like your cliche hip hop song titles. They give you so much. Like I like the God Delusion. No Rules, No Idols was a personal favorite for mine. I love the way you closed the project. I you've got it listed as a bonus track, but it feels like it's part of the project.
Yeah, I recorded it as part of the project, but I was feeling that the song wasn't as hard as the others, so I put it as a bonus track. I just tapped it on the end. It was a good little tune. I love the original Scarface. Scarface, Keep Me Down, Knots, Not Standard Be Knots is one of the hardest out there. And yeah, I just always loved that song, Keep Me Down by Scarface. I wanted to rap on it. I talked about no rules, no idols. You know, that's it. Like it's your only life to live. I think as we get older as people, we're more set in our ways, and we're more like we're gonna do things our way. You know, we're gonna do things the way we want to do them. You know, and it's not about conforming to what society says or what other people says. It's about pleasing yourself. And that's what I was talking about in that song, like no rules, no idols, YOLO, basically. Yeah, you know, not conforming, you know. Yeah.
Right. So how would we categorize you because this project I wouldn't say is a full Christian album, is it?
Nah, it's not.
So what would you categorize it as?
I would categorize it as hip hop, man. It's hip hop album. Like if you're a hip hop head and you listen to hip hop like I listen to it, you hear the beats, you hear Knots, Footprints, G Unit, you hear Alchemist, Give 'Em Hell, Prodigy, you hear what's it called? That Can't Be Life, Jay-Z. You know the tunes, you get me? It's a freestyle album, it's beats. And if you're a hip hop head and you hear me spitting on the beats, you'll be like, this is hard. You know, because the beats are hard. You know what I mean? It's hip hop at the end of the day, you know. It's not, I wouldn't say Christian rap, because I wouldn't put myself in that category. You know, and I wouldn't say it was road rap, like Giggs and Blade Brown and all that, man. It's not really hustling kind of thing. You know, it's more just straight up hip hop, man. And it's not trap, it's not drill, it's hip hop.
Right. So what affected your decision to only release it on Bandcamp?
Because it's not original music. If I put it on SoundCloud and Spotify and stuff, you know, I'm not getting copyright to get these beats or whatever, you know, so they won't give me permission to put it out. I've tried to put stuff out on SoundCloud before. I had a Madlib project when I rapped all over Madlib's beats on the Stolen Consciousness album. You can get that on Bandcamp as well. And I tried to put it on SoundCloud and it registered that the beats were not theirs, or, you know, like AI or whatever, recognized it wasn't the original beats. I couldn't put it up. So I put it on Bandcamp, you know, and it's not as accessible as Spotify. Maybe that's something I have to do in the future to make more original music and make more original music, make it more accessible for people to listen to. Because if it's on Spotify, everyone's on Spotify. You can just listen to the thing. Yeah. But Bandcamp, you can still listen to it. You can still hear the project, and they allow me to pull it out, even get money from it. You know, you know, I can even charge for it. So yeah, Bandcamp was the best thing to use. And I'm building up my little cat. So I got another project on it called Chuks, the Passion Project. That's on Bandcamp as well. But there's I prefer Bandcamp at the moment, you know.
Okay, wow. And plus there's Bandcamp Fridays where you get to keep all the money. So that's a good look as well, you know? So
yeah, that's it.
So is there a decision, will you be making any visuals for this album, or will there be any physicals if people want to get physicals from you?
I'm not going to be doing physicals. I might do some videos, like little freestyle, little Instagram stuff. I might be working on that in the future. Also, just building up their social media profile, maybe on TikTok, put some bits there and stuff like that. I'm also writing a new project as well. I enjoy the process of making music and writing lyrics and recording. Not necessarily performing as much as I get older. I'm not really feeling that as much. But I like the process of writing lyrics, recording, hearing the song, people listening to it, get them hearing my views, getting their feedback and stuff like that. I enjoy the process. So I think I'll be making music. I'm like yourself, bro. I feel like I'm keeping hip hop alive. I feel you're definitely doing that. You're a person like, we know you for hip hop. You know, you do your book, which is amazing. The podcast, you do the radio show, you in the group, you know, freshers, you know, people know, and you're keeping this thing alive. And I like to think that I'm a purveyor of hip hop. You know, people that know me know I love hip hop and recognize my face on the scene and stuff like that from young. And it's something that I've always loved, and I feel like as long as I'm going, I'll always be writing and making hip hop. Look at Common's putting out like Pete Rock, the Auditorium album, like at 50 odd, putting out that album. It's going to be a thing where, 60, 70 people will be still putting out albums,
Yeah.
and when we die, some of it will pass on to our children, and children will keep it alive. But
Yeah.
as long as I know for a fact that hip hop, I'll always be listening to hip hop,
Yeah, that's what's up. I think when we was a lot younger, we'd put an age limit on it. But now, like people like such as LL Cool J coming back, you can't put a limit on these things, man. And
Yeah.
and one of the questions I often ask, even at this stage, like you guys came out the gate with the One Crew sounding sharp and very lyrical, man. And listening to this album, bro, you don't sound like you've lost a step. You sound like you've gotten even better as a songwriter. So I mean, what motivates you to still be like producing art at such a high level?
Do you know what? For me to be making lyrics and putting bars together, putting words together, working on arrangements, having themes and topics that I want to talk about, researching, talking about my feelings, recording it, organizing studio time, all kinds of stuff. It's just a passion, and I feel like my hip hop. I just love hip hop, man. I listen to hip hop every day. I'm not a TV man. I'm not a binge series man. I'm not a football match of the day. I like football. I support Arsenal and stuff. A little bit of football, but not really too much TV, EastEnders and all that rubbish. If I'm in my yard after work, I'm listening to an album, some kind of album, and everything is on the internet in terms of music, and I can get it. My music collection is like 4 terabyte. 4 terabyte music. My music collection is mad. I'm listening to 38 Special, 38 Special, and Benny the Butcher dropped today. So I'm getting that album. It's hip hop. I'm getting that album. I'm going to be listening to that. 38 Specials are hard, man. You don't really want to go there. It's like Sunday school. Like some of the lyrics, these Benny the Butcher, hip hop. I listen to hip hop every day, man. Redman, Method Man, MOP, all of these guys every day. Listen to, and it's not even like, I'll be listening to the stuff and I'm deleting it. So I might listen to a little freestyle or like a little song that's done with someone called Meg or whatever. I might listen to it, enjoy it, and just delete it. But the bangers, cold as ice, follow instructions, ante up, that's stacked, saved. So when I'm going to be running that for the rest of my life, you know what I mean? So I listen to music all the time, man. And it inspires me, it keeps me going, man. I'm listening to beats. I love Knowledge. There's a producer called Knowledge that works with Anderson .Paak. He's like keeping that hip hop alive, that kind of loop based, kind of sample based hip hop. Love it. Madlib's still going. That new Madlib and Freddie Gibbs, I'll be getting that straight away when that new album drops. Alchemist is killing it. Bare albums he's dropping. Larry June, Rock Marciano, Earl Sweatshirt, he's killing the game. The producers are killing it. J. Cole's fire. J. Cole's got some fire stuff. Kanye West is still dropping. There's hip hop is just amazing, man. I love listening to music. Love listening to hip hop, man.
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 Is there anyone from the UK that you're feeling at the moment, or?
UK white Bashy. Bashy just killed it with that Black Men tune, Black Men Don't Smile kind of rhythm. Love the video, love the track, love the lyrics. Every lyric hit home. It was one of them tunes that's like every bar was like, wow, Bashy's hard. That's an album I haven't heard yet, but I got it. I got the album and I'm gonna get to it when I can. Kano's hard. Kano's like amazing. I think anytime Kano drops, if you're a rapper, maybe not drill trap, but hip hop, like UK hip hop, you have to be listening to Kano. His last 2 albums were amazing.
And even Shocker's new album is really good as well. He
had a conversation the other day, I think. Conversation with Black Psychology. I think I missed that though still. But Shocker, I haven't heard that. He was in Marvel, right? Yeah. Yeah,
Shocker is like, he's a strong advocate for mental health awareness in men as well. It's interesting because his album and your album more or less were a day apart. And so I was listening to both at the same time, and it was just like, man, it upset me because I'm in the process of finishing now, and I was like, oh my God, the way you guys went, man, I need to throw my stuff in the bin and start again. But it's like it's beautiful, man. It's such a beautiful time. I love the honesty, the bravery, like you mentioned earlier, the courageousness, and like love having you on this platform because we definitely want to encourage more people to listen to this album, man. And definitely, you know, it's such a fantastic body of work, man. So for someone that's like give us the sales pitch. Why do they need to hear this album, bro?
People need to hear this album because of the lyrics, the flows, the music that I'm using, the samples, the beats. If you're into hip hop, you need to listen to this, man, because the beats are banging, the rhymes are hard. You know, the rhymes are, it's talking about Christianity, God, and stuff like that, but it's not doing it in a way that's street, that's fresh. It's got a London vibe to it through the lyrics and my tone and just, you know, just me being a Londoner. You know, the lyrics hit home. That's what, if you're into hip hop, you need to check it out. It's also like creative. It's done in a way where, you know, for people who are religious and Christians who are into hip hop, you can get into it. So, you know, it's not just cussing Christianity and cussing religious people. It's more like giving my view on church and what happened when I was in church. I go to church and hit the road and then leave church and I see man shotting or whatever, or taking drugs or whatever, and, you know, and it seemed like church was a safe place to be, you know. So it talks about a lot of stuff. So I think if you're a Christian and you're into religion, or you've got an aspect of you that believes in God, it could be signs and wonders, you know, not necessarily a biblical thing. I think this album's for you, man. This project's definitely for you, and there'll be future projects as well. So check me out, man, and even check out the catalog and Noble Men stuff as well. You know,
that's fantastic, man. And if they want to follow you on the socials, what's the best way to get hold of you?
Instagram, Chuks LDN. You know, Chuks NLDN, North London. Just look for me on Instagram and check me out, man. And you can email me as well on FCKNXRMAL@outlook.com, and just holler me about anything you want to, you know what I mean?
And is Chuks Music still active? Chuksmusic.com.
No, that's gone. That's gone. I think I have to delete that off the Bandcamp probably. Yeah. I had the website for a hot minute, but that's gone, man.
Yeah. Oh wow, that's incredible, man. My final question I do want to ask you, man. You said you got new music on the way. So what would you say at this point? You know, what is the Chuk legacy, man? As an artist, I would say the legacy I want to leave as an artist, just speaking my mind and speaking my truth. I want my music to just be like a reflection of me. Like even the album that I put out, Chuks, the Passion Project, around 10 years ago as well, that was just talking about my view on things at the time. Every album I talk about will be a snapshot. The next project I'm working on is about my relationship with my baby mother and stuff like that, you know, and my children. You know, I think there's not a lot of songs that talk about, there's not a lot of rap songs that talk about children, you know, and talking about kids. Talent Quality touches on it, but like not too many people. So I want to do some songs about that. And but my legacy, yeah, it's just about me being honest. If people listen to me, they say, yeah, he was a rapper, he made music, and that was it. And you know, obviously my children and my career, whatever, but social work. But yeah, if you know me, you know that I rap. It's basically, that's the legacy, you know. Yeah, that's dope, brother. So we was talking about the legacy. You said you know, the next project you want to reflect on your family more, you know, and you're seeing your music more as like a time capsule of where you are in life, you know, and the importance, you know, and I love the fact that every single song on this album has meaning. You know, we're in an age right now where a man would write a song about, yo, look at my gums, or I'm in the club doing something, you know, and especially nowadays with the likes of Spotify, a man will put a record out and then 24 hours later you've forgotten about it, you know. And I feel that the music that you release, you know, it has a lot more substance, a lot more. It's like what we'd call hard food, you know, and it's not McDonald's music. So it's like it's that real substance, and I feel like it will, because you got such a good ear for beats, I feel like it will last, you know, the test of time. So I'm seeing this album right now. It feels to me like it's a legacy piece. You know, we're going to be talking about this album from years to come. You know, it's a very powerful project. You know, you touch on some very challenging subjects. You know, that's going to make people think and question things, you know. And it's like you said, it's very brave, it's very courageous, you know. And I'm definitely looking forward to seeing what you do next, you know, because I'm noticing a pattern with your projects that you're very good at staying in theme, you know. So every project definitely gives you a different moment in time. So how far away would you say we are from the next project?
The next project is not actually, it's not talking about my relationship and my children. That's the next one I want to write. I'm currently got maybe 10 songs already for my next project. It's talking about where I'm at in my life, like work. I've got a song called Limbo. I've got a next song, couple songs talking about like overcoming struggles and stuff like that. Another song talking about being special and unique, and everyone having a unique specialism and being different and embracing our differences now as I'm getting older. So yeah, I'm 10 songs deep in that one. I'm hopefully next year I'll get that album out, you know, and record it and stuff like that. That song is that album. That'll probably be my next project. Yeah, that is it, man. Yeah, but the other project about my ex and my children, I'll be writing that soon as well, and that'll be enjoyable writing about that. I'll probably be listening to a lot of R&B, listening to Tyrese and Anthony Hamilton and all them kind of man there, getting inspiration for the lyrics.
Yeah. Well, you never know, you know. Talib Kweli's got his children rapping on tracks with him now. So
okay, yeah. My daughters might spit. Do you know what? I don't even want my daughters to spit, blood. I don't want them to be in hip hop like me. I want them to be nerds. Just nerds. I like the fact that they watch TV and they're into TV and Bluey and all them things. They get me and Peppa Pig. And yeah, my kids are still mad young, man. They're like 10, 11 or whatever, you get me? So
yeah. So maybe closer to the time, you never know. They might surprise you.
Right, I don't know.
Come buy you off the track.
Yeah, there's outdo, man. I'll be like, nah, I have to step it up. Yeah, that'll be amazing. Look at Raskas, isn't it? Raskas with Cost Contra. They mad.
Yeah, exactly. You know, and there's so many artists that have their children MCing now, you know, and it's a beautiful thing, man. It shows you that this is multi-generational, you know, and it shows you how global it is, especially with the message, you know, especially we live in a time where people from all over the world can access your music, and you'll be surprised, you know. That's why I mentioned the Spotify thing, because obviously with Spotify for artists, you can see what countries are listening, you know, as well. Yeah.
It's true. They do have some kind of things on Bandcamp, but Spotify's got the global reach in it, and you can probably get on other playlists. That's why I have to do some more original music, man. I have to try and get it on that playlist, you know what I mean? But yeah, that's it. Just keep getting better, keep progressing. That's what it's about, man. That's what it's about, man.
Right. So, I mean, in terms of obviously you're an ambitious artist, man. I mean, are there any, I guess, you know, obstacles or challenges or things you still want to accomplish in hip hop before you even call it a day?
Me, not really. I mean, I like the process. I like the doors that it opens. Like even me doing this project got me to start speaking to you. You know what I mean? So it was a blessing in that way. I love the fact that it opens doors and stuff like that, and it creates opportunities. You know, I think that's what I have to continue to do. Just hope it that try and use the music to open doors and to meet people, and then opportunities will come out of that. You know, so it's just to keep staying on making the music and making the next project bigger and better than the other one, and hopefully getting in contact with people that believe in my vision or whatever and that want to support what I'm doing. Because you got your team, you got your peoples, and you got wisdom and all that kind of stuff. You're doing a lot of stuff. You know, it's not no man's an island in this thing. You know what I mean? So that's what I have to do, try and make more connections and that kind of thing.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Absolutely, bro. But you're definitely on the right track, man. You know, like a soldier and an advocate for mental health awareness as well in Black men, which is so important, man. You know, what would you say was the moment where you felt like free to really want to talk or open up and be honest about your mental health journey?
I think it was my mental health journey. I think it's just a part of who I am. You know, I've had so many issues in my life. It's like that's connected with who I am now. It's like a part of my reputation. If people know me, they know that I've gone through certain things. So it's like I just put it out there in the music. I'm open and honest about it. Some people get judged and stuff like that, but it don't affect how I eat. You know what I mean? So I don't really. I remember like, you know, I'm living by hip hop. Like hip hop's my Bible. But I remember Freddie Gibbs was saying something about feed. If you're not effing or financing or feeding me, I don't really give a damn. And I was living by that for a hot minute. I was like, if you ain't my gal or whatever, if you're not employing me or whatever, or putting food in my mouth, I don't care. You know what I mean? So that's really, it don't affect my day to day. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? So, but yeah, that's it. And having I think some people want. It seems kind of trendy to talk about mental health now and stuff like that. Back in the day, it wasn't. You know, it seems like it's an agenda for people. People don't understand that mental health is real, but there's different levels of mental health. There's some people that get a little depression, get a little stress, and they call it mental health crisis. That's not mental health. Mental health, there's levels to it, a whole spectrum. And for me, it's a deeper thing. It's a neurological difference. You know, like, you know, where Archer talks about neurodiversity and stuff like that. There's definitely that with me, where I'm different and needing treatment to stay on a certain level. And the thing I'm blessed with is that the thing with me is that I get back on it. If I have a blip or whatever, I get back on it and I'm back on it and I'm well. But some guys used to see zombied out. I'm sure you know Bear Man, that's out there and they're not even getting well again. You get me? My man's talked to me about, have you seen this guy? He's gone, he's not coming back. He's been like that for years. For me, if I go off the rails, I get back on it, you know? So I'm blessed that it works with me in that way. And I'm just blessed to be designed in that way, you know. But having the strength to speak up on it, yeah, I speak on it, man. You know, I don't think depression and stress is the little things. It's not really mental health to me. Remember, I'm a practitioner. I work in mental health. I work in CMHTs. I used to work for Enfield Council. I worked for South London and Maudsley. I worked in early intervention teams, general community mental health teams, outreach teams. You know, and there. It's serious life events that causes mental health, like an uncle touching you or whatever, or the uncle touched me when I was young, or I was homeless, or my mum did this to me or whatever, or someone attacked me and stabbed me or whatever. Or it's always some big life events that's happened in that person's life that contributes to the mental health deteriorating in that individual. That's the pattern I see, you know. And medication works for some people. Medication, injections, all this kind of stuff, treatment, psychology, it works for some people and it don't work for some people, you know. So yeah, it's a mixed bag. It's a lot of stuff out there. Mental health is a deep topic, man. Everyone's walk is different.
Yeah, of course, man. And so what would you say? I mean, obviously we don't have all the answers, but I mean, what would you say is like going forward is, or what the government or what us as people could do more, you know, to help?
I guess we're so bogged down with our own individual lives, chasing our dreams and our ambition, and we've got children, we've got relationships, we've got mums and dads or whatever, you know, and our jobs and our passions and interests. We're so bogged down, but it's good to reach out and to check in on someone if that guy's bugging out. You know, I think it's good to check on that individual and see how he's doing. I think it's important to, if someone's on medication and stuff like that, checking, asking about if they're taking their medication, just seeing if they're taking them thing there, you know, because that keeps people well. Just checking in on people, just checking in on the people that you care about. I got some people that just gone off the rails, and you know, and they're not even on medication or whatever, but they just got mental health in a different kind of way, and you know, and I can't even check in on them. I phone them. If I try and check on them, they don't even want to talk to me or whatever. Or if I see them on the street, they don't even want a reason. So there's little you can do for certain people that are in a certain way. But it's good to just check in on people, you know, and to see how they're doing, you know, and give them a word of encouragement. I think some people, you know, everyone's built different. Everyone's got their uniqueness. Some people got the character traits and qualities to uplift people and very empowering, very sociable. You know, some people have those kind of qualities, and if you have that, you know, your character could bring joy to that individual, you know, who's probably going through a dark time. And that's the thing with a lot of people, you don't really know necessarily what's going on with the individual. They could not necessarily put on a front, but they're getting on with everything. That's what it was with me. I was just working all the time, with my wife at the time, kids, no time to do hip hop or whatever, just so in it. And then when things went down, it was like no one was there and that kind of stuff. But I'm trying to say this, it's more that people don't necessarily let on to the struggle that they're going through. So they might be going through their day-to-day and doing everything they need to do, but they're deep inside, they know they're going through some hard kind of times and stuff like that. And it's good to be able to speak up. You have to know the power of your voice, you know, and getting that feedback from other people that could enrich you and influence you and have a good impact and effect on when you speak. When you speak up, it's powerful. When you speak up, it's powerful. Yeah. So it's understanding the power of your voice and saying no, saying yes, you know, to things you want to do, saying no to things, not feeling peer pressured into stuff or feeling like you have to do stuff that you don't want to do, you know, yeah, that kind of stuff, you know.
100%, man, 100%, and you've summed it up so nicely, you know. So like I said, the saga continues, the mission continues, man. But like I said, artists such as yourself continuing to shine the light and raise awareness on these things is so important, you know, for our culture, us as black men, you know, moving forward in a positive light, you know. And like, once again, man, I want to thank you for this project, bro, because it was needed. It was needed, but it was one of them projects that it has its own lane, you know. There is nothing like it, you know. It's unique perspective, and especially with the rate that people put music out these days, you know, it's really refreshing to hear a project that you can't say sounds like anything else, you know.
That means a lot to me, because I know you listen to a lot of hip hop. You listen to a lot of stuff. I know you must listen to a lot of hip hop. So to get that from you, yeah, I appreciate it.
Bro, you just told me about this Benny the Butcher, bro. That's more hip hop for me to listen to now. You know? Yeah, man, I definitely had to, you know, come and give you your props, brother. Give you your flowers, man. You know, I'm a big supporter of your music. I have been from day dot, as you know, you know, and I'm glad we finally got this opportunity to sit down and reason and conversate about this project, man, you know. And obviously on the Connoisseurs of Hip Hop, man, we're going to continue to support everything that you do, you know, and the Nobleman's album when it comes as well. I might have to get on Carl's case, man, and get an update.
Yeah, definitely. When that pops off and then we'll talk again, you get me?
Yeah, that album's coming like Detox.
Yeah, I know it coming like Detox. Mad. Yeah, Dr. Dre. Yeah, it's coming out though. It's coming out. They're working on it. Man, them are working on it still.
Wicked, man. All right. So literally, once again, man, we want to encourage anybody that's locked in and listening to this, you know, Chuks, F Normal, Grab the Devil by the Horns, out now on Bandcamp, you know, exclusively. We may get physicals at some point, but for now, you know, jump online, enjoy this body of work. It's fantastic from beginning to end, including the bonus tracks, which I think are brilliant as well. You know, yeah, brother, I want to thank you so much for taking time to kick it with us. And yeah, looking forward to checking out what else you got coming down the pipeline, as well as celebrating this project, man.
Yeah, man. Hopefully when I get this new project out, yeah, we talk again. You get me?
Amazing. All right, brother. Take care, man.
God bless, bro.
Respect. Peace.
On my viewpoint, this is my opinion. Come and hear my new joint. People scared to speak. Political correctness. Cancel culture instead, don't respect it.